back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we take whatever artists we're doing for the weekend, we take all of their albums, we rank them, we list our biggest bangers from each one of those albums, and then we also have our 6 Degrees with Tom DeLonge that we do right before. If you don't know what that is, look up the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, and you'll get the idea. So, my name is Tyler, way out there, hundreds of miles away, way out there, and neither is Jeff. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts because that means the most. So please go do that. Thank you all for listening. Now, Jeff, let's cut all the intro crap out. And what do we got for our 6 Degrees with Tom DeLonge? I have 2.
I also have 2.
All right, so you go first. What do you got?
I have a super easy one and a one that kind of goes in and about. Ebbs and flows a little bit.
All right. So what do you got?
So I guess I'll do the first one, the easy one, because this one I was really surprised at. But Greg Brown, guitarist, played on Matt Sharp's Puckett's vs. Country Boy EP.
Okay.
That was the EP he released before his actual album. Matt Sharp played obviously with Pat Wilson in various projects. Weezer being one of them, if y'all don't know. Pat Wilson, drummer for Weezer, sings and plays guitar in The Special Goodness. It's a side project band which has Adam Willard as a frequent collaborator / drummer. Adam and Tom.
There you go. Easy peasy, baby.
Easy peasy.
All right. So let's go with my first one. I could have gone the really easy route and just gone from pretty much Cake with 1 Degree and then Blink, but that's too easy. So I went a little bit roundabout. So we start with Cake, their song Fashion. I know this is all, my 2 are themed. They're soundtrack themed. So the Cake song Fashion is a 4-letter word, was on the show Daria, the MTV show Daria. No Doubt's Simple Kind of Life was also on that same TV show. Gwen Stefani from No Doubt frequently collaborated with Warren Fitzgerald on her solo music. Warren Fitzgerald is the guitar player, songwriter for the Vandals. Warren to Josh Freese, Josh Freese to Blink, and then we're good to go. Because Josh played with Blink a few times.
Very interesting. On the Daria soundtrack, huh?
Yeah, so I could have made it really easy because that Cake song is on Daria, and then Blink's Damn It was also on the show. So I could have gone that route, but it's way too easy. So what do you got for your second one?
Also, and no doubt, don't forget Gabe McNair. We talk about him a lot. He's like the trombonist.
Yeah.
He's in so many different projects, and I use him a lot when we do our 6 Degrees. He's like the Josh Freese of Orange County trombones and more.
Yeah, okay. And more, yeah.
He's played a lot of people.
He's the only one he's the only like trombone player you can relate to anything, really.
Yeah, he's like the only. He really, if you look at his like discography, he's been in so many things. But he was on Hang Ups too by Goldfinger. So.
Okay. Oh, that's an easy one.
My other one was John McCrea. Did I say John McCrea? John McCree?
Yeah. No, John McCrea.
John McCrea. He's a vocalist. He did guest vocals on a Ben Folds album, his first album.
Mm-hmm. Ben
Folds had Regina Spektor guest vocals on his third album. Regina has ties to the Strokes via touring. Her first big national tour, she opened for the Strokes. And also she had Nick, the guitarist Nick, play on one of the guitar and some of her songs for Begin to Hope. Julian, your boy Julian Casablancas.
Oh, yeah.
There's more than one of them. He did some guest vocal work and played on Queens of the Stone Age, their 5th album. All right. And then we talked about Queens of the Stone Age earlier, which was kind of funny, but Grohl played for Queens of the Stone Age. And as we know, Grohl played with Nine Inch Nails, Elon to Tom. I
I
get
always
it.
forget that
I get it.
I always forget that
I get
connection.
it.
So okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good. So this next one I have, we go from the Cake song "Hem of the Garment." That song was in the soundtrack to the movie Me, Myself, and Irene. Also on that soundtrack is a cover song I know you love, and it's the Offspring's cover of "Total Immortal" from AFI. So we go from the Offspring, which Adam Willard who played drums in the Offspring for several years, and we go from Adam to Tom. Easy peasy right there.
Easy peasy. For the record,
But
that covers is it's okay.
It's trash.
It's okay.
It's trash. It's just say it's trash.
It's you only think it's trash because of how great the source
great the
material
original.
is, but it's not a trash song.
It's rough.
Like if you played it for someone who never heard AFI's Total Immortal, they would think The Offspring very like, holy fuck, this is a good song. But then you play AFI's and their face would melt off. So,
but then what's so like kind of annoying about the Offspring version is that Dexter does all the vocals. He does all the background vocals too. So there's so many woes.
he's been doing that for that's all he does is the woes.
I know, but like that's all Totally Immortal is woes. And so when you have just Dexter layered on Dexter, ooh, it gets to be a little much.
It's a lot of Dexter. It is.
It's a lot of Dexter.
It's a lot of Dexter.
So that's what I got for my 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge.
All right.
So let's just jump right into the Cake rankings. And they have 6 records. So we're gonna go from their worst best, just the worst, not their worst best. What? We're going from their worst to their best, and we're gonna name our biggest banger from each of them. So what do you got, Jeff, for number 6? Go.
Number 6, actually the only Cake album that I didn't really enjoy at all. This was Pressure Chief. I, for whatever reason, I also didn't I usually put down what number this is and what year, but I did not do that this time. So
It's their 5th record.
no idea what year it came out. No idea what it is. So you said their 5th record. I'm looking at it now. It's 2004. Pressure Chief.
Okay.
Pressure
Chief, yes.
By this time, we are tired of their sound. It is, and we will get into their sound and why they chose to be so basic and ordinary for so long, because there's a lot of nuance to that. But by this time, I'm tired of it. I'm fucking just done with it. It's the same shit over and over, and this time around, it's not backed by kind of any cool rhythm section. These songs are like B-sides to everything else that they've done. Some of these songs are actual songs that were supposed to be on like their 3rd album, Prolonging the Magic. So this is just dumb.
Big as bootleg.
This is bootleg. And I don't even have a favorite song because I didn't really enjoy this album that much. Disappointing.
So then my number 6 is their last record, their 6th record, Showroom of Compassion. This album as a whole, it just they tried to, it seems like they tried to go back and focus on just the indie aspect of the band from the early 90s, and it just felt really flat. It wasn't really as exciting as I was hoping for. There were moments that were good, but this album to me was very forgettable. I mean, I would never listen to it again, but it's not a bad record. Like I'm not disappointed I listened to it. I didn't have a bad time listening to it. It's just knowing who Cake is and knowing what their other records sound like. I would much rather listen to something else from them. But the one song that I do like is Long Time. I think it's the 2nd song on the record. It's just, this is like the perfect combination of the indie stuff with a lot of electronic stuff. They balanced it really well with this song, and it was good. It was just a solid song from this record. So that's my number 6.
Okay.
Showroom of Compassion.
All right.
So what do you got for 5?
My number 5 is Showroom of Compassion. This came out in 2011, many years after Pressure Chief came out, and this is fine. It's a good startup. It's this is a band that never changed their sound because they think it's funny, and they pick right back up where they left off. Like nothing mind blowing here, but nothing really that bad. And Pressure Chief I would probably rank below a 2, but at least Showroom of Compassion I would give a 2. It was a 1, because a 1 I would listen to. Everyone should listen to all these at least once.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm at a 2 yet. Not at a 2 yet. Showroom of Compassion, sub 2. Everything I just said earlier means nothing, I guess. But Show Me Compassion, we're getting there to do it too. It's not bad, but it wasn't like great.
Fair. That's fair.
It also means nothing. It is what it is. My favorite song is also Long Time. This one starts off with just
song,
like
right?
the vocal choir thing, and it's so goofy. The song is like musically, it's so corny, but it just shows they can still have fun, and they've never taken themselves seriously, and they still continue to not take themselves seriously. And that's
totally.
fun.
Absolutely. Okay, so my number 5 is Prolonging the Magic, their third record. This one, I felt like they were on the right path with the second record with what is it? Not Motorcade, a Fashion Nugget. They were on something good with that one, but they didn't with Prolonging the Magic, they didn't really expand on it. It just didn't do anything that really like wowed me or really I thought was exciting. It was just, to me, it was like the B-sides of Fashion Nugget, but it was still good. Like I'd rank this like a 1.75 out of our 3-point ranking system. So a 1.75 would be Prolonging the Magic. My favorite song on this one was Sheep Go to Heaven.
Oh,
that song's so
Goats
fucking
Go to Hell.
Go to Hell. It's so good. It's so goofy and quirky. That was a banger of a song. That's playlistable right there. But Never There was a good song. I mean, the single was a good song, but out of all their big hits, that's my least favorite. But it's still good. But I don't know. The album I felt like it wasn't a strong album compared to Fashion Nugget and some other stuff. So I don't know.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Okay.
So what do you got for number 4?
Number 4 is Fashion Nugget for me. This is their second album, 1996.
All right.
This is similar to the first in that they're focusing on melody and essentially just having like a crazy strong backing rhythm band. There's a lot more country sound than I expected, and like overall this band, there's a lot more country than I ever expected. But like those were my favorite tracks. I have no real big complaints other than the second half of this album was much more enjoyable for me than the first half.
Okay.
But there's still some bangers on here. And Fashion Nugget, I wouldn't give it a 2, but if somebody put it on, I would listen to the whole thing and have a good time. So I'd probably do like a 1.9 for Fashion Nugget. I don't know if me personally would go out of my way to listen to it in its entirety. But like The Distance, that is a banger of a song. I Will Survive,
so
fucking phenomenal. But because those two are known, I did pick Italian Leather Sofa.
That's a good one too.
There's a playful way about like the guitar that make it sound like it's so carefree, and I feel like I'm sipping a marg on the beach when listening to this song. It's just it's so stupid. It's so silly.
It's a slightly vulgar song too.
Yes.
That's a really good song. I like that one a lot. Okay, so that was your number 4. So my number 4 is Pressure Chief, their 5th record. This one caught me off guard a lot. This is where they sit at a 2 out of 3 for me when it comes to our ranking system. So I thought this one was a lot of fun, and it was really cool because they really kind of laid into the electronic stuff, which I don't normally like, but they did it in such a way that it was kind of off the wall, and it should not have sounded good. But knowing kind of who they are and how he sounds vocally, the weirdness of the electronics really worked on this album. And my favorite song is Carbon Monoxide. It's probably one of the more upbeat songs on the record, and just the wild synth sounds and playing that he does on this it's fucking nuts. And it just what he does on this song should not sound good in any other song, but I don't know what it is about this one that it hooked me. So Carbon Monoxide from this record, this primarily electronic record, which was cool because they had laid into that indie thing so much for so long. It was kind of cool seeing this electronic thing that they did, and they did it really well, I felt. So that's my number 4, Pressure Chief.
Okay.
What do you got for 3?
This top 3 here. Comfort Eagle, our album of the week, is number 3 for me.
Okay.
Number 3.
Okay, so I guess then I thought it might be a little bit higher, but whatever. Then I know what your number 1 is. I know what your number 1 is.
You don't know a goddamn thing.
I do. So my number 3 is Motorcade of Generosity, their first record. This album is just perfect 90s indie rock. This is just what every indie band kind of wanted to do, but in a lot of cases never did. They were never able to reach this. I think the songwriting on this record is absolutely amazing. I'm not a big indie man either, but what they were doing, there was enough there to keep it really exciting with the weird, or with like the trumpet and with other instruments, and the songwriting itself was really fantastic. They hadn't started doing the weird kind of the dun dun, like the staccato kind of thing he does vocally. He hadn't really started doing that yet. So this record was a straight indie record, and I thought it was fantastic. Probably one of the best indie records of that decade. Easily. It was just great songwriting. So my favorite song is Rock and Roll Lifestyle, which is the single, I know, but dude, you cannot fuck with that song. It's an amazing song. And then also the opener, Comanche. What a stupid opener. I mean, that song is probably the weirdest song on the record, but it worked. It's so good. It works so well. So Rock and Roll Lifestyle or Comanche and Comanche. Great stuff. Great stuff from a band. Great stuff from this fantastic record. Dang. So that's what I got. That's what I got for my number 3. So what do you got for number 2?
So your top 2 are Comfort Eagle and Fashion Nugget. That's
maybe.
That's exciting. Those are the most basic rankings I've ever heard. Okay. Mm-hmm. My number 2 is Prolonging the Magic. You ranked it so low.
Yeah, that was just kind of whatever.
This is their third record, late 90s, 98. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny how? It's funny because the title of this is what they're doing. Like, they're just stretching their unique sound over what is now 3 records.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're a fucking joke band. This is a joke band that never took themselves seriously in any way. But this one is packed with it's full of crazy good instrumentals and grooves. It is just nonstop groove. And when they're at their best, when I like them their most, is when the band is grooving and then he's just talking. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like what their biggest hits are, is just the band is really grooving and he's just talking. But he just has such a weird, unique, commanding style about his talking that makes it even that much better. But Prolonging the Magic was... It just took what was great about, obviously, my number 1, Motorcade, and then also took what was popular about Fashion and then put them together, but then still kind of dumbed it down a little bit.
Okay, interesting.
But my favorite song is also Sheep Go to Heaven. I mean, we're talking this is arguably like their catchiest chorus that they've ever done. It's one of those choruses that just repeats the line, but the second time around it gives that relief on the last word. Like the sheep go to heaven and then the goats go to hell, and the second time is goats go to hell, and it goes down. And it's like it's just so simple. It's so done, and it's so tired. But fuck, man, fuck me if I'm not, now my window's 115 degrees out here. Sheep go to heaven. Like I'm some kind of psychopath. But then like the next song when you sleep has a really cool guitar riff, and it's got this kind of like reggae influence, and it sounds a lot like 311, like what 311 was doing at the time too. I think Prolonging the Magic was unfucking believable.
Yeah, very interesting. Our takes on this. I really thought it was a B-side of Fashion Nugget. Not bad at all.
I think Fashion Nugget just didn't step up enough for me. Outside of like the hits, I don't, and like the first half of Fashion Nugget, outside of the hits, it's almost like non-existent. I think the second half of Fashion Nugget is damn good, but I don't think it. I don't know. A little too pop. Wasn't nuanced enough, I guess.
Okay, it's fair. So then my number 2 is Fashion Nugget. There you go. Who would have thought? Second record, and this one, like I was saying, the Motorcade was strictly just an indie record through and through, a really good indie record. But this is where they started to dabble more, and they've started to progress in their sound. This is when he started to do the talking, singing more, and like more the staccato thing, and just kind of the weirdness started to come out on this record, and it was exciting. It was them just kind of doing whatever the hell they wanted, and I really liked that. And then they didn't really progress on that. To me, they didn't really progress on that with Prolonging, but then once, oh well, we'll get into Comfort Eagle later, but yeah, no, Fashion Nugget was just this cool progression of the band, and I really liked it. And I mean, The Distance is just, there's no song that sounds like that at all. I mean, it's so unique. And then I Will Survive, the cover, the Gloria Gaynor cover. It was like 6 minutes long, and it was just wild. And it was everything you would expect Cake to do, but a little bit more, with like the improv, I don't want to call it improv, but just like instrumental breaks. And I thought it was fantastic. And then Gloria Gaynor said this is her least favorite version of the song. So
because they cuss
just wanted to throw
in
that
it.
out there, because they cuss in it, yeah. But dude, it's fucking fantastic. I love those two songs. I think this record is fantastic. So there you go. That's my number 2. Obviously, my number 1's Comfort Eagle. So what do you got for your number 1?
Number 1 is Motorcade of Generosity.
I knew this would be your number 1. I knew
debut.
it.
Why do you think it's my favorite?
Because it's so indie.
Dude,
it's right up your alley with like the Weezer sound, the Jimmy Eat World sound. This is right up your alley right
These
here.
guys are like one step away from just being a country band. And that is, there's so much country, there is so much Western, there is so much twang that like literally they could have just been like an alt country band and slayed competition, because this Motorcade of Generosity is better country than I've heard in like 10 years. It's dude,
There's some good stuff on there,
it's
man.
such an awesome sound, and this almost like this weird simplicity to it, and no one is really like great. The bass player, I think, is probably the best coming off of like the sound, the most talented musician here, but nobody really does any kind of, nobody shows me that they're really, really good at their instrument. They're all basic. They all approach songs in a very basic way. And it's that dumbed down approach that lets them just really be really unique and really weird, and let them venture off and change tempos and change genres and go from like an indie to like a straight country band. And I thought this was so weird. And I listened to this one like 3 times because I thought this was unbelievable. Like this is damn near a perfect record for me. This was unbelievable.
It is really good. And knowing too that they self-recorded it, they self-released it. This is all them. They literally sold this record out of their van.
Yeah.
When they would play shows up in Sacramento. So it's pretty wild stuff. Pretty fucking wild stuff.
God damn, this is a good record. It is unfucking believable. And they've never done anything like this after this. This is I don't know, man. This is like raw, not in its sound, but in its approach. It just seems like all of these songs weren't fleshed out enough. But I think that it was like a first take, best take type of thing.
Yeah.
Because none of these songs, I don't know. Whenever you write a song, there's always something you want to do a little bit better. And because these are so basic, like you just got to think like they would want to do better, because they are really good musicians. And the fact that they didn't, the fact that they stuck with like the basic shit, I love it so much. But Jesus Wrote a Blank Check. That is my favorite song. Okay. That is my favorite Cake song. It starts off super Western, the strumming, and then the lead guitar drops and lays down just this incredibly tasty lick. And it's so goddamn good. It's their best song. It's got dueling guitars. It's got crisp horns. The horns come in a little bit later, and they're super crisp. Because even the horn player, like he's no Miles Davis out here. He's laying down fucking basic stuff. And it's so easy to get behind.
And it's not like he's playing throughout the entire song. It's usually just parts. Like he'll throw a part like in a chorus or just in the bridge. It's nothing crazy ever.
Yeah, he comes in and drops like 5 notes and he's gone. But then like throughout this song, it's like you got the guitar dueling with another guitar, both the lead guitar is dueling with himself, and the horn drops in. Now the horn's dueling with the guitar, and there's so much nuance to it. There's so much stuff that's going on, but the dueling, like besides the guitar shredding, everything else is just very, very basic. But even the guitar comes off as sloppy sometimes, and it's just, man, this was unreal. It truly was. This was unreal. I cannot believe that Cake sounded like this.
I know.
I cannot.
I know. It's a fantastic record. I got nothing bad to say about it. Nothing bad to say about it.
I was blown away. Blown away.
Maybe we should have done this record. Who knows?
That's all right. No, I mean, Comfort Eagle's fine too.
Yeah, it's good. It's still good. It's still good. All right. So yeah, like I said, Comfort Eagle is my number one. So we might as well just end this part and then get into the main episode because we get into Cake, Comfort Eagle, and go listen and subscribe, rate, review.
And
that's it. That's all.
Littering and...
WWE.
WWE.